How's it going, guys? My name is Splattercat, and we have some important work to do today. Now, as I recall, we had put meat up on the drying rack, and we were going to move forward. We need to get lightning rods. I think we need lightning rods, because if you look at the spacing of everything we own, it's pretty much just a big bullseye waiting to be blasted with lightning. And I actually learned in a class that, like, every space on Earth has, like, a really high chance of being struck by lightning. That's actually how we do geomagnetism. But anyways, off of that boring school-related subject, let's get going. So I think what we need, let's go back to our research engine over here, our research machinery, our Machina de research maybe, I don't know. Let's go through, and I'm not really sure what menu these are in, but I'm going to run through very quickly, and we're going to see what we can see. Now, I don't think it's in structures. We've got wooden flooring, cobblestone. Nope, it's not in there. And we've got a rainometer, a ranometer, if you will. We can make gunpowder now. How crazy is that? Maybe we can make explosives. Ooh, lightning rod. Okay, so that's very important. We need to make ourselves a lightning rod. Right, meow. So let's go ahead and we'll take that. And we've already got gold. And I really don't know what the coverage is going to be of the lightning rod. I'm not sure where to place it or how that's going to go. And I guess I have to be standing next to this machine down here. Let's go down here. Nightmare fuel. We can't make that yet. Oop, I'm on the wrong menu. There we go. Lightning rod. So we'll make one of you. And I don't really know where to place this. So I guess I'll put it right here maybe. There we go. And then let's go track down and see if we can find ourselves some more gold. So it looks like we've got some stones up here. We haven't really cut to the east yet. So let's cut to the east and we'll see how it goes. I used up the 24th poo, which I had read that it made some people very it made some people's eyes twitch when I used the 24th poo. Let me check and see if we got anything on our trap. We do! We got food. Good, because I'd like to get a ton of beef jerky going. I think that's the measure. That's got to be, at least partially, the measure of a great society. How much beef jerky they can produce. And we're not doing so great as a society. We only have one beef jerky on the rack. Oh, and you can... Somebody told me in the comments in the last video that you can right button them, but they didn't say that it says RMB murder. Now, that's kind of funny. Anyways, let's combine the stacks. We'll go back up here and we're going to throw them on the rack. Oh, and it looks like we can only fit one at a time, maybe? Meat takes a while to dry. Okay, well, maybe we'll make a few more racks and we'll see how that goes in the future. But for now, let's head to the east. Now, you will notice that I'm no longer playing Wendy, a strange side effect of the patch that dropped, and I'm pretty happy about the patch. The patch only added items that you can use. It didn't really add anything else. It didn't add, like, a ton of new features, so we're in decent shape. Why is there a rope laying on the ground up here? Rope? Return yourself to my bag, noble rope, that I might use you for other endeavors. Alright, so we've got ropes now. We need to get our farms going as well, but I'll do that after our little adventure here. So onwards to adventure. We're going to run our merry way off to the east and see if we can find any more stones to destroy with our picks. And there we go. Okay, so there's a spider web right there. I was a little worried that it might have been higher level, but it's not. We're fine. I want to kill that rabbit right now, but I'm not sure I can get in between him and the hole. No! Damn it, rabbit. Why won't you let me just kill you? Why are you just so adverse to being slain? Why can't you just accept that it's your fate? There we go. And we do need to get a lot more food on hand before winter shows up, so possibly that might be why they administered or why they added the drying rack. I don't really know. Ooh, he switched holes. Sneaky little bugger. I feel like I'm being assailed by spiders, even though it's daytime. I don't really feel too good about that. Spiders, we had a treaty. I've talked to you extensively about this. I need to talk to the ambassadorial department of all these spiders that seem to be mobbing me mercilessly. Seeds! Let's go ahead and grab these seeds up here, because we're going to need them to plant some crops in the future. We should probably grab some more poos while we're down here, but I spent so much time doing it in the last episode that I don't really feel so great about doing it again. But as I said before, we're playing Wilson now, because I guess when the patch dropped, the adverse effect of the patch is that it switched us from playing Wendy to playing Wilson again, but that's fine. I like Wilson. Wilson is actually by far my favorite character. Anyone whose special ability is growing a beard, you've got to give them an extra check next to their name on the overall report of their life. If beard growing is a skill, you've got to put that check plus there. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten a teacher who does the check minus check plus system. It's depressing. I have a teacher right now who's got this weird arbitrary system for grading. Like if you get, for example, like he's got pluses, checks, check pluses, check minuses, and like somehow they all roll together. The guy's an ex-artist, so I guess that might be why he's got this weird abstract system, but it's a little unfortunate that our plane has ended here, so I guess I'll run back to the west. But anyways, my teacher has a really arbitrary grading schedule. Like, if you have like 2 pluses and a check, then it equals like an A. But if you have like a check, a minus, and then a plus after, like it's a ridiculous system. So if you're a teacher, please don't ever do that to your students. If if your grading criteria are so strange and abstract that nobody can make any sense of it, it may be time to go back to the drawing board. I don't think we're going to be too successful with our adventures during the course of today. I was hoping we would find some rocky biomes nearby. There's some stones. I'll actually take those. So let's make ourselves a pickaxe real quick. We may end up camping for the eve, but that's okay. We killed off a bunch of hounds in the last day. They showed up a little early, which was disconcerting, or well, it was a little nerve-wracking. I'm not sure why they decided to show up a day early, but they did. That niter, or the nitra, we're still just stacking up. I don't know what to use it for. I'll run through the recipe list pretty soon, and we'll figure out what in the hell all this stuff is to be used for. But for now, I want my base to be supplied with a large volume of lightning rods. That's my first and foremost goal right now, because we have everything so packed together that I don't know if I could handle my base burning down. I might just fly into just a mutalisc rage and destroy everything. I might just fly off the handle. I might go into Incredible Hulk mode, which, by the way, the Hulk is super awesome. If you've never read anything about the Hulk, I strongly recommend it. I haven't really gotten back into it in a while, but I have read a little bit, and the Hulk is a very cool superhero, especially once he actually regains, like, Bruce Banner and the Hulk kind of combine, and so it's the Hulk, but with, like, Bruce Banner's brain. I love that point. Once it gets to that point, it's very cool. Let's make ourselves a campfire real quick so that we don't get eaten by our good friend Charlie. I refuse to call him the Gru at this point. Calling him Charlie is so much more gratifying. I don't really know why, but I just know, Spider, you be good. Now, we're going to cook up some food here. We've got some morsels, so we do have some trail rations. We're not too far from home at the moment, which is good. But we are far enough to where we weren't going to make it back in time. So let's get ourselves nice and fed. Not fed up. I could never get fed up with Don't Starve, but we're going to get ourselves fed, but not fed up. I saw a poster the other day, and I don't know if you've ever seen like an advertisement that just like checked you the wrong way, but there was like this foot with a shoe on it, and it said, "Running changed forever." And I don't really feel like that's a claim that you can make. Like, changing running forever, I feel like it would take a bit more than just a shoe. Like, you could only make that claim for like the most basic of objects. So like, running changed forever, shoes. Like, that would be the invention. Like, you would have to invent shoes to make that claim. Or like, experience meat like never before, bacon. Or for don't die anymore, vaccines. Don't starve anymore, food. Like, it's such a lofty claim that I feel like you would really, it would have to be the baseline object, like the first invention of the series that could really only change running forever. I mean, unless it was a shoe with like jetpacks on it. Like, if it was a shoe with jetpacks on it, then yes, you would force me to admit that perhaps you had changed running forever. But to be a contrarian, I might be able to legibly raise the point that putting jetpacks on your shoes just made running obsolete. You haven't actually changed running, you've just eliminated it. But anyways, off of that boat, let's see if we can find ourselves something else to build a lightning rod out of. And we have a lot of travel time in this episode, so I apologize, but really during the course of this the course of this series, I would love to get ourselves rich. I feel really good about the fact that the update policy of the game has not slowed a little bit, but I'm glad that the last update didn't like produce game-changing or far-reaching results. I'm really glad that we actually have the opportunity to stick with this map for a while and not feel like we're missing out on things. I also feel as though carrots are respawning. I don't know if they ever did that before. Carrots always struck me in this game as something that was kind of a once in a lifetime type deal. Like, you could only get them for a little while. Carrots were limited, but it seems like they respawn now at this point. I'm not positive what I should be using mushrooms for just yet, so I'm going to ignore them for the time being. But in the future, we are going to play around with mushrooms. I've eaten a couple different colors. None of them really seem to help me. They didn't make me trip balls, but they did physically wound me and make me kind of ill, so that's unfortunate. So I'm guessing there's some kind of process that they need to be subjected to before they can either be edible, or maybe you make potions out of them, or maybe something good happens in that regard. And dear, look how many spiders there are up there. Oh my god, there's so many. What do we even do with a field of spiders like that aside from possibly slaughter them? Let's go up and get in a spider fight because we need to lose our sanity so we can start gathering up some nightmare fuel and things of that nature. We should also probably kill off some bees, maybe? I love that noise they make when they die. It's such a sad little noise. There we go. We've got some honey, and I would like to get bee boxes set up, although really the problem with bee boxes is that they don't function in winter. They put you in kind of a rough spot once winter comes around. They don't really help you. They don't really do anything. And I like that the bees flinch now. If you remember in the last LP, we ran into a problem in that our bees no longer flinched. So they could basically just keep hitting you even though you were attempting to chain stun them. I don't know if I want to set up bee boxes just yet. I should. Let's do it. Let's do it. Where are the worker bees? That's weird. Usually, if I remember correctly in the past, don't worker bees come out and attack? Yeah. They juked me. That was a decoy. That was what they did. They put down a decoy beehive. And I'm going to put my... God, we're pretty beat up at the moment. Bees. Be pleasant. And I always feel like I can command nature by just being like, be pleasant. No pun intended, of course. But I always felt like if somebody's going to say no pun intended, that the pun was actually kind of intended. Like, in retrospect, I feel like they don't feel guilty for the pun. I feel like they should still be forced to apologize about it. And you stop stinging me, bee. God. Luckily, they don't hurt very much now that we've got our log suit on, but there are a lot of them, and they are making up for the fact that they just have numbers. And so I guess I'll try and draw them back off up over here, and then we'll swoop around, grab the honey, and keep on moving. The nice thing about honey is it allows us to make candy. And I love candy, guys. I love candy. Even before the MC Chris album, or I guess that was MCP Pants, but even before then, I loved candy, but now I have a theme song with which to conduct myself, so I guess we'll leave the log suit there, continue to just crazily juke bees. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to juke a bee before, but it's very difficult, and that sting almost put us away. So until we have more health, I'm not even going to fiddle around with bees anymore. Let's head back to our base, and on the third day, we'll try and head out and take care of business a little better. But for now, our health is so low that I don't feel good about attempting anything else. So before evening gets here, we'll head back to our base. And it looks like there's still is that a black, what is that black line on our map? We'll find out here in just a moment. We will find out. We will be explorers and intrepid. Is that the road maybe? Oh, it's the road. Okay, I still don't know why my roads look like that. That is still a point of contention for me, is that other people's roads don't look like that and mine do. And I'm not sure why. I guess I'll sort it out in the future. I've watched other people's LPs, and I've watched other people play the game, and their roads appear much more normal than mine. My roads appear to be Tim Burton-y and somewhat depressing. They're all black and kind of charcoaly, and they just don't look very pleasant. Now let's grab some more berries here before our gobbly friend. I've started making that noise like when I cut people off in traffic. I'm like gobbly, and I've noticed it works pretty well at trolling people. So I think the fine developers over at Cly may be onto something in this regard. And I'm just joking. I don't fly through the freeway cutting people off like crazy. That's fighting actions right there. That's, you know, and people get caught up in road rage. They're just like, "Arr!" They just kind of get that look on their face, and you could tell. You could tell when somebody is on the edge of the precipice to just endless road rage. I don't know if people fly off the handle like that in other countries, but God, I've seen some people just lose their minds in traffic, and all of my traps have captured something, and I feel very bad about the fact that I can't loot them at the moment. So let's see if we got ourselves any bunnies. We're gonna murder a bunny. There we go. And I'm gonna throw all those red feathers on the ground because I don't feel like they're gonna be useful to me right now, and they don't decompose, and I need a little extra space for our bunnily friends. It also appears as though auto stacking is not functioning quite as I would like it to. So there we go. We'll put that back, murder another bunny, and now that we've got the space, we will pick our nitra back up, and let's head to camp. And we need to get ourselves restored. We need a little bit of restoration. We need a little bit of R&R. We need to start feeling better. So once we get our health back up to a satisfactory level, we'll be in a better headspace for moving forward. And I do know that berries tend to give you a reasonable amount of health, but we're still going to need to eat a little more. I don't like where my health is at. Right now we're within a one-shot of just tragedy, and it's only day 11, and I don't accept that as a possible outcome. So did the drying rack work? Oh, it did. And so we've got small jerkies. A little jerky. Yeah, It's a multi-tiered pun. It's a multi-tiered pun. You'd think that their humor would run out eventually, but Cly Entertainment always seems to catch me off guard with their little one-liners, especially from Wilson. Wilson seems to be the snarkiest of all the characters. He seems to have the most attitude. He seems to he seems to be the least enthused about this whole situation, although I don't think anybody seems necessarily enthused about being trapped on a crazy island in which everything is attempting to kill you. Got some steel blue caps there. We'll use those as fuel since they're pretty much dying on us anyways. And let's take a moment here in the evening to organize what we have. Can we throw nitro in there? No. We make gunpowder out of it, so I figured maybe it was flammable. Our next goal is going to be to get ice chests to get our farm set up. And so what do we need for our farms, actually? While I'm on the subject, we're sitting here in the camp overnight. So let's take a look at our... We have basic... Wait, what's going on here? What is going on here? Basic and improved? Did they just roll those into one another? I don't see, like, turbo farms or anything anymore. Strangely enough, just basic and improved. Weird. So maybe, I don't know if they did. You guys can correct me in the comments, but I suppose the improved farm appears to have most of the same materials as everything else. So let's get those placed. There's our first one. Yeah, and it looks like the turbo farm plot. So I guess that's what we got now. I guess they rolled that together. So that's a little change that they appear to have made in between patches. So we'll deal with that as we deal with it. I am going to pick that flower and get a little bit of sanity back, unfortunately. Wait, flowers give you health now? I just noticed that flowers gave me health. Oh dear. Well, they give you a little bit. I guess it must have been sitting on one of those points at which your bar tends to jump. So now that we've got that there, let's go ahead and plant some seeds. And before we get out to our third night, we'll take a look at that giant field of spiders out there. A field of less than dreams, I guess. A field of nightmares. Really just a spider-filled field of death. Say that 10 times fast. And then we will see if we can get at some stones so that we can make another lightning rod. Because I do at the moment feel like this general area over here may be protected. I can harness the heavens, quite possibly. I wonder if that's like a famous quote or something. It feels quotey. That whole thing feels quotey. What did that take me to build all those, by the way? It felt like it had lower requirements for building. It did. It did. So let's head up to the north. We'll see if there's a bridge over to this little biome as well. This will be a multi-purpose expedition. And a berry bush. We'll try and scavenge our way up the coast as well. I'll never bypass the possibility of grabbing more stuff to make myself more self-sufficient. And we'll grab some grass while we're here too, because we are going to need to craft some ropes in the near future. Ropes are one of those multi-purpose tools that they encourage you to build by making it part of almost every recipe ever. So having a nice little supply of ropes is always recommended. If you're watching this as kind of a new player, ropes. Get lots of grass, get yourself a nice grass field, make yourself tons of ropes. And we've got gold here, so that's our third gold nugget, which is going to allow us to make another lightning rod. Realistically, I'm probably just going to surround my entire little base with lightning rods because I don't need any shocking results to take place. If my base burns down, we have harvested so many different materials from so many different corners of the map right now that our berry bushes alone burning down would be just heart... Oh god. Okay, so now I guess if you step on... Okay, that was never a problem before. I guess if you step on the webs now, they aggro you, they wake up, so we'll stay away from the webs as best as possible. I don't really like that change, but it's something that I can learn to live with. It's really only something that's going to be damaging the first time it happens to you. After that, you'll be like, I know the rules of the game. It's just when you don't know the rules of the game that you run into problems. So let's get through all of these mining nodes here, and once we have all of these eliminated, we will move on forward. And, you know, I'm not going to... It is what it is. The spiders tend to be very grumpy, but our health is so low that I don't want to fiddle around with them too much. Normally I would have stayed behind and fought with them right there because it's early enough on in the game that fighting spiders and getting yourself a nice little supply of silk is generally recommended. That's something I do need a better supply of silk before we go forward. I do need to catch some bees before I can make my bee boxes. Even though I have all the other materials, I do need to catch some bees. So to make the bug net that we need to do that, I'm definitely going to need some spider webs, but our health is so low that if we get bit even once, it may kill us. And I'm gonna make the executive decision just for a moment there while I was dragging on with that and just kind of perspiring over what my future plan was gonna be. I was trying to debate whether I wanted to head back to camp or not. I'll do that off camera. Let's hang out here and get as many of these mines destroyed as we possibly can, because I would like to not have to worry about gold. Having a nice little supply of gold is going to be very, very, well, not only lucrative, not only pecuniary. Having a lot of gold is going to be nice in the long run, because it's going to allow us to build a lot of the things that we need without having to run out and make these ridiculous trips. The Badlands biome is far enough away at this point where I feel like getting all the gold we could ever need is what I want to do. Definitely with stone as well. Stone is one of those, we build a lot of walls. We're going to be building a lot of stuff out of stone blocks. So getting ourselves a nice supply of stone is going to be in our best interest too. So stone, 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 mine, 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 picking, picking, picking away. Treating this place like it's just a nose full of zaboogies that we can dig into deeply. And once these are all out of the way, we'll probably break off the episode. In fact, we're getting towards dusk. So I'm going to cut this episode a wee bit short, just a tiny bit short. Thank you for joining me here. My name is Splattercat. If you're new to the series, if you just got me through a random search, or it's your first time viewing my content, my name is Splattercat. I'm so happy to have you here with me. For the rest of you, you know who I am and you know what's coming. I'm going to say take care, everybody, and I'll see you next time.